Welcome to the Confident and Courageous Clarity Podcast with me, Jateya Jones. Join us weekly for everything clarity. The truth is, once you have clarity, you'll have the confidence and courage to succeed in life and business. If you're new to the podcast, you should know my goal is to help you gain the clarity needed to transform your visions, goals, or dreams into reality. For my OG listeners, you all know that the podcast was birthed from the evolution of Mocha Monday's Tip of the Week. So when we moved to the podcast, I couldn't just leave you without your mocha. Therefore, at the beginning of each episode, I give you your drop of mocha, and you are to implement it throughout the week to help inch you closer and closer to clarity. This week's drop of mocha is: finish what you started. If you want to rebuild your confidence or increase your confidence, finish. Many times we start, but we don't finish because we don't think it's good enough. We quote unquote get excited about something else and move on to the next. But you keep starting and stopping and never finishing because you have a lack of confidence in yourself. You don't trust yourself for some reason. Life will beat us down and cause us to doubt our gut, doubt ourselves, not trust ourselves. But to build it, you gotta finish. To increase your confidence, you gotta finish in the smallest things. So this week, just finish. It can be the smallest thing and celebrate that. Finish what you started and then celebrate. And work your way up to the big things. So maybe you started cleaning the bathroom. If you're anything like me, I bounce from room to room to room before any room is actually finished and cleaned. Force yourself to focus and finish cleaning the bathroom. Then celebrate. And then move on to something big, like that dream, that vision, that goal. Finish what you started and watch your confidence increase. Now to this week's episode. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining me again this week. So let's jump right on in. Today we're talking about debilitating doubt. Yeah. Have you experienced that? Because me has on several occasions. And I literally have to take a deep breath, exhale the doubt, and literally push my shoulders down, because I'm so stressed. They're and I don't realize it, right? Do it with me. Take a deep breath. You ready? Let's do it again. Take a deep breath, press your shoulders down, and exhale this doubt. Let's go. You ready? Exhale the doubt of, I won't survive if I leave this 9 to 5 that I don't like. Exhale the doubt of, nobody's going to want to buy this product, program, or service from me. Exhale the doubt of, everybody else has already done it. Exhale the doubt of, it's good enough for them, but not for me. Exhale the doubt. Exhale, let it out, let it go. And I know it's easier said than done. I do. And for me personally, when I'm feeling debilitating doubt, I'd be like, Jateya, why are you emo? I literally have to talk myself off the ledge because it comes out of nowhere, right? Or so we think. Normally for me, it's when, a deadline is coming and I put this thing off because it takes the most time, the most attention, and the most brain power. So normally I'm like, let me do this email and this thing on my to-do list and this thing on my to-do list because they're easy, they're quick, they're in a safe space of non-judgmental, i.e. nobody's really gonna, you know what I'm saying, they're not going to have to waste their money or waste their time. It won't be a detriment to anybody else if I do this thing. But if I work on this big thing, the thing that's going to catapult me into my dreams, into living the life of my dreams, into making it to that next level, into solving someone's problem, because I know that I know that I know it works. But there's a small chance that somebody may not like it. Nobody's going to buy it. I'm not going to be able to articulate it. Like all of these whispers of doubt. And the thing is this. It's an internal battle between my heart and my head. Because my head is like, what is wrong with you, biscuit head broad? I do have to talk to myself like this sometimes because Hershey me is stubborn. Okay. So I'm like, what really is wrong? Like, what's the problem? Like, you already know this will work, right? Right. So what's the problem? Why are we feeling this way? And the issue is that it's such a level of anxiety and this ball of emotion that I can't describe sometimes that I literally have a blockage in my brain. Like I cannot process, I can't think, it doesn't make sense. And the overwhelm, like just it catapults, like just shoots through the roof every time I try or every time I sit down to do this thing that I know I got to do. I know it's going to help me and others, right? So logically, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, Jateya. It makes absolutely no sense. But emotionally, I'm paralyzed. I'm paralyzed. I can't move. I can't think. I can't process. And I'm literally borderline on a panic attack, even though I'm talking myself off the ledge, right? So today I came to share with you what I have found to be the reasons behind and the ways to overcome. Because I refuse to let that stop me from one, helping you, helping myself, and changing this world for the better. I refuse to be the reason that I stand in my own way because I stood in my own way for so long. And I was tired of being sick and tired because standing in your own way only leaves you to stand in that same spot year after year after year after year. And if you're currently on that hamster wheel and you truly want to get off to go up the ladder to success, it takes a small baby step. Okay. Takes just a small, even though that baby step feels like you are stepping down from heaven to earth, like that ginormous of a gap, right? And you don't really know where the bottom is. That's how scary it can be, but it's worth it. And I promise you, it's not that far down to get off that hamster wheel and walk over to the ladder towards your dreams. Okay. So, this is what I found to be true. For me, it stems back to a limiting belief around money. And it's not that I'm not worth it. It's not that the program's not worth it, but it's twofold though. The first thing is that I've wasted money in the past on programs and things that didn't help me. It didn't serve me. And my heart still aches for that younger version of me. And I don't ever want to be on the other end of that. I don't want to give you guys things that aren't going to serve you because time is money and money is money. And those are both things that we need and we work hard for. And I don't want to swindle away your money, you know? And so, for whatever reason, well, that is the reason because I experienced that. That's in the back of my mind. It's really not the forefront because I'm thinking logically. I know it works. I know I'm not that type of person. I know I only want to give you guys a level of excellence that you deserve. But it's in the back of my mind. And those whispers that nobody else hears, nobody else hears these whispers but me to the point where I barely hear them, but they affect me emotionally. Right? So that's one, because my heart still aches for that version of me. Because most of the time, I'm helping the younger version of me. I am, right? But I also had to realize and analyze my part in choosing who I chose that wasted my money and how I allowed them to do that. Because I was so busy chasing after the dollar. I was in survival mode. I was in survival mode. And I was like, okay, what can help me make money doing what I want to do so I can leave this horrible 9 to 5? And I also wasn't a good steward of my own money. So therefore, I was always in need of money, right? And so I went to what seemed to be the quick fix because I wanted a quick fix. And I'm here to tell you, there's no such thing as a quick fix. We can get you clarity and a plan to win in no time, but it takes time. It does. It takes time to implement, curate, and execute. It literally is not going to be next week. We can get you clearer, but not to the point where it's going to be your savior or help you escape. It takes time. Just how the turtle beat the rabbit in the turtle and the hare parable, it's not a sprint. It literally is a marathon. But because my focus was on money and escaping and surviving, it wasn't on solving a problem and or helping my client. It was about money. It wasn't about purpose. And people don't want to buy something. They don't want to buy your desperation. They don't. They want to buy a solution to their problem, something that has purpose, something that has substance. So yeah, you can go out here and I don't knock people who sell widgets. And widgets is like random stuff that we really don't need. But they normally have one-off customers. They don't have returning customers, loyal customers, sustainable customers, the ones that support you and you give you a sustainable business. So you're not always after chasing the dollar because you solved a purpose. You serve a purpose for them. You're not selling them your desperation. And I had to realize that I was selling desperation. And I was purchasing with a desperate mindset. So I was purchasing courses for like the algorithm. And we know the algorithm changes 500 times every other day. But I didn't know that because they sold it to me as if this was going to be the answer to my prayers of getting people to actually purchase from me. And I'm here to tell you, it's not the algorithm. It helps with your marketing and people getting to know that you exist and that you're out here, but it doesn't help with them actually converting to cash. It doesn't, because you're not solving a purpose for them, or at least you're not articulating your purpose clearly because that's not your focus. Have you ever been in a discussion with someone? I won't call it an argument because 9 times out of 10, they're the only ones that are arguing. And you're not upset, so you can actually listen and understand, and you're listening to understand, not just respond. And you see that they're just hell bent on sticking to this. Even though they realize that doesn't make their point, it's not helping them win this argument, but now they have to save face, so to speak, that they keep drilling themselves into a deeper hole. That's what happens when we're focused on, we have blinders on, and we're not trying to truly understand. We're just focused on the dollar. We just continue to dig a bigger hole for ourselves. Every time we take a step forward, we take 10 back because we're not focused on the right thing. And in the words of Patrice Washington, chase purpose, not money. And I know it's easier said than done, especially if you're in grind hustle mode and in survival mode. It's a whole lot easier said than done, but I'm here to tell you that it's worth it. Oh, it's so worth it. Because that day that you've put in the time, that you don't have to keep running, you can actually, it feels so good. It feels so amazing. And that's when you actually can be present. You can be present. So it's worth it. It's worth it to fight through the debilitating doubt and the whispers of doubt that no one else hears. And I know you're like, well, Jateya, how in the heck do I do that? Here you go. You go slow. You go slow. Me personally, I literally had to be like, Jateya, calm down. Because technology was teching. It was not being my friend. On top of me having to already do something that was giving me such anxiety and overwhelm. So I'm like, Jateya, just calm down. Just calm down. Timing is going to be perfect timing because I was like, I just need to do this so I can do this next thing because my to-do list is so long and I got to do this and I got to do this and I got to do this. And that doesn't help when you're already stressed to keep stressing yourself out about things we can't control. And so I started asking myself questions. What can we control right now? Stop tripping because you can't control that. Okay, what can we control? You know you got to do this. So go ahead and pout and get it over with. And I take my time to pout. And then most times, because it involves me actually reading or truly doing something that I have to digest, I use my finger. And it sounds so elementary, but I take my finger and I go line by line by line until I understand it, until I calm down. And I read until I can digest it. And then all of a sudden, my blood pressure starts to go down. I continue to take these deep breaths, like so that my lungs actually feel. Because so many of us just do shallow breathing. We hardly ever take in a really deep breath that gets to our gut and expands our lungs. And I do that to calm myself down because I realize that stressing out does not serve me. And we have to start to let go of things that no longer serve you, people, places, and things, and emotions, okay? We got to let go of them. Because for me, I'm like, all it does is weaken your immune system and we don't have time to get sick. And I'm like, you're going to get sick if you do this and then you won't be able to do nothing. So get your life together. Like these literally are the conversations that I tell myself. Y'all know I have a public health background. And so when things, especially because we are still very much so in a pandemic, no matter what the government is telling us, right? I'm like, we don't have time for this because we have people to see, things to do, fun to have, drinks to drink, and laughs to laugh. And if you get this out of the way, you can go do all of those things. I am definitely the one that's like, let's get work out of the way so we can go play. And most people think Capricorn specifically, because we are hard workers and we find joy in work, actually, as bananas as it sounds. But they think that I'm a workaholic, but that's not it. I love to have fun. But I also know that if I put in the work, the visions that I see for me and for others will come to pass. And again, taking myself into accountability, I hadn't always done the work because it came easy. Remember this thing called purpose that we naturally do? It comes easy. But the work part of working on the business, the processes, the procedures, the organization of files, the onboarding, all the tedious business stuff, I didn't always do the work. Okay. Because I was a solopreneur. So it didn't have to be organized. It just had to be a method to my madness so I could find it, which in all honesty, I didn't always find it. It took some time because it was just everywhere, right? I was building the plane on the way down, but I kept it in the air. And so now I'm having to go back and do the work, right? And so that takes time. And so it may seem like I'm always working to some. And to some of those some, you're not the priority. I love you to pieces, but honestly, they're not the priority. Your priorities change when purpose kicks in. Because when you've been helping others build their visions and dreams for so long and putting yours on the back burner because you were a people pleaser and or you got joy out of that, or you know, it felt good to give, but then you were too tired to work on your own dreams, or you felt guilty telling people no. When you work past that and you find purpose, your priorities shift and you realize self first isn't selfish. And you're like, it's not worth it to go play. Because I know if I put in at least a month's worth of work for the next 6 months, I can actually live life while my business still grows and flourishes. And so can I. But I got to put in this month's worth of work. So I do that. But it doesn't come without strife, right? So first way I do that is I slow down. I talk myself, why are you feeling this way? What are you feeling? What's the worst that can happen? Now, what's the best that can happen? And take your time, baby step after baby step after baby step, and walk yourself through doing whatever it is that you have to do. And just know that the other side of fear is amazing stuff. And you would think that, every time you realize this, because you actually walk yourself through it, you get through it, that the next time you found something difficult to do or encounter, you would just do it with excitement because on the other side of that is some amazing stuff. It don't work like that. Emotions are real, but they're not facts. But they are strong things to deal with. And that's where the debilitating doubt kicks in. So I'm here to tell you you're not alone. You are not alone. And at each level that you excel to and evolve to, it comes with a different level of that. It doesn't go away. We just learn how to deal with it better. So take the deep breaths, press your shoulders down, exhale the doubt. Know that you can do it. There are even days where I literally had to say, borderline like the little choo-choo train, I think I can, I think I can. But instead of I think, I say, I know I can. Sometimes I may even get in the mirror and have a face-to-face conversation with myself, look myself dead in the eye and be like, you are tripping. I will talk to myself like I talk to my friends. Because if my friend tells me they got this idea, I'm going to be like, girl, let's go. What are you doing? Right? I have to get in the mirror and talk to myself like I talk to my friends. I have to be a friend to myself. So exhale the doubt, talk yourself through it, take the baby steps, whatever that looks like, until it gets done. And if you're naturally or your knee-jerk reaction is like pick up your phone and put it back down, unless it has something to do with what you're doing, put it back down and continue and push through. And once you finally do that thing, you're going to feel so good. You're going to sleep like a baby because you've let go of a weight that you've been carrying around that you physically can't see. No one else can see it. You act like you're not thinking about it, but it's always there because you have to do this thing. You need to do this thing. This thing is preventing you from making the money that you need to make because you got bills to pay. And it just spirals your level of stress out of control. Do the thing. Do the hard thing. Give yourself grace and space to do it. You're not weak. There's nothing wrong with you. You're human. You're human. And we've been conditioned to feel a certain way about ourselves, think a certain way about ourselves. Even if, and the thing for me is that as a kid, thankfully, I was always told you can do whatever you put your mind to. And I believe that. To this day, I believe that. But for me, the other thing too is that because I was in survival mode, that hustle and grind felt good. But once I got a taste of thriving, I'm deathly afraid to go back to survival mode. But that kicks me into gear doing things that will put me back into survival mode. It's bananas how it works, right? But you've been so ingrained with experiences. And I know the experience that got me to this point where I doubt myself, I doubt my gut. And even though I'm like, but I know God can, I doubt him too at times because I'm doubting that he will come through in my timing. My timing. You heard that? My timing. When I already know his timing is divine timing. It's perfect. Whenever I wanted something, when I wanted it, how I wanted it, and I didn't get it until later, I'd be like, I see what you did there, God. This is so much better. But it doesn't take away from the hurt, the stress, all of that stuff of the time that you scheduled and wanted, right? And so I'm like, well, God, if I step out on faith, if I step out on the water, are you gonna make sure that I don't go hungry? Are you gonna make sure? And he probably looking at me like, girl, why are you doubting me? And you know good and well that if someone doubted you like that, how you would feel. And eventually you'll just be like, well, let me prove it to. I can show you better than I can tell you. Let me go ahead and let you sink while you walking on this good water. I got you walking on water. And then all of a sudden you want to doubt me? Okay, play with me if you wanna. Play if you wanna. But he always comes through. Like the song says, he's an on-time God. Yes, he is. Um, so yeah. Logically, these things don't make sense, but emotions aren't logical, guys. I'm here to tell you. But you can talk yourself through. And once you do that hard thing and you walk yourself through it and you forgive yourself for not doing it sooner, right? Because we start to beat ourselves up. Like, you already knew we had to do this, and now we can't go play because we got to meet this deadline. All that stuff, right? Forgive yourself for that. Get it out of the way and let's get to it. And don't let debilitating doubt win when it appears. But it is debilitating. It can be borderline paralyzing. But you can do this. You can do this. Deep breaths, baby steps, and push through. Focus until it's done. No matter how long it takes you, focus until it's done. And once it's done, just watch things flow. Everything else is going to just, and all those amazing things are going to happen. So that's my how to overcome debilitating doubt, and to let you know you're not alone. It happens. But you can get past it. You can get through it. And it's so amazing once you know. I'm excited for you. Talk to yourself like you talk to your friend. Or hit me up. I'll talk to you. I'll help you get it together. I'll even send you a voice memo in the DMs if that's what you need. Because I understand what you're going through. But I also understand how amazing it is once you get through it. So that's it for this week. Go off, be great, do the hard thing, focus until it's done, and I'll see you next week. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Confident and Courageous Clarity Podcast. I hope you'll come back next week and join us for some more. And with that, have a marvelous, marvelous, marvelous Monday, and I'll see you back here, same time, same place next week.